excellent.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for being a part of this special episode of the Mind Your Business podcast for Thanksgiving 2025. I hope you are having an incredible day, spending this with family and friends and people that you love. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite days of the year. There's something about a moment to just slow down, to take a breath and just remember in the middle of all the busyness of life and all the demands that we all share, to remember and pause and reflect on what really matters. It's today to just quiet the noise, to just forget about all the stuff that's happening. It's to shift our attention to something that I think, sadly, we all overlook so often, and that's gratitude. See, gratitude isn't just a feel-good holiday thing because it's Thanksgiving. So we're talking about all the things that we're thankful for. Maybe in your family, you do the tradition of going around the table and everyone shares something that they're thankful for. But it's not just about a holiday or a date on the calendar. This is an area that impacts our lives every single day, the area of gratitude and thankfulness. Did you know that people who practice gratitude, who have an attitude of gratitude, are 25% happier than most other people? When people are polled about their happiness and about the satisfaction that they experience in life, the people who have a practice of expressing their gratitude and being thankful, often they tend to be happier people. It even happens in our companies, in our professional settings. It's proven that companies that have intentional cultures of appreciation, well, they have a lower turnover rate and they have higher productivity because it's a place where people want to be. They're appreciated. They are thankful for the environment that they're in, the people that they work with, and so they stay and they work harder. Grateful people, it's proven sleep better. They handle stress better and they report better relationships, both personally and professionally. Gratefulness is so impactful. One study even found that gratitude can increase your mental resilience by over 30%. So when you're stressed, when you're bogged down with all the things that's going on and you're feeling it, battling in your mind, when you have gratitude and appreciation, thankfulness, it increases that resilience by over 30%. In other words, Thanksgiving today, it's not about something just to be observed annually because it's a date on the calendar or a national holiday. This is something that we should be living every single day. So today, while most people are out there thinking about turkey and they're thinking about football, I want to talk about how gratitude can change the way that you lead, it can change the way that you work, and it can change the way that people around you experience you. It can impact your relationships. Hey, today's a good one because award-winning John Maxwell leadership expert Frankie Powell is going to join our discussion today. And then I want you to stick around all the way to the end because I'm going to give us 3 quick ways that you can express your gratitude that impacts your life and the lives of those around you. So welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast, the podcast for whatever business is on your mind. Let's get started.
Excellent.
Well, thank you again for being a part of another episode of the Mind Your Business podcast. And I want to remind you, if this brings value to your life, I need you to like, share, and subscribe for all of my friends on YouTube. Send this to other people, get the algorithm going so YouTube knows that you love it. And of course, if you're listening by podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast, leave us a review. That helps to add as much value to as many people as possible. Now, I'm excited to have Frankie Powell with us today because he is an amazing leader. He lives a life of gratitude. What we're discussing today, he lives every single day of his life. So, Frankie, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Oh, thank you so much, Brandon, for having me. I'm excited about being here, and I'm especially excited about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, today we're talking about gratitude, and I think this on Thanksgiving, as of the release of the episode, is such an incredible conversation to have because I really think a lot of people struggle with the topic of gratitude, and not just the topic, but living it out. Have you experienced that?
Yeah. I would say that I think it's a cultural issue that we're experiencing all across the country, you know. And there's probably several different reasons for that, but I think people just aren't grateful because they don't know what they have, you know.
Well, and that's why I think talking about it today is so important because this happens Thanksgiving every year. It's on the calendar. People are gathering with family, they're hanging with friends, they're just taking a day off, whatever that means for each individual. But it can almost become just simply another holiday on the calendar. But there's so much more to it than just a date on the calendar. There's really power behind being grateful. So I'm just curious of your perspective. How do you keep this from being just another holiday on the calendar?
Yeah. And, you know, you feel the cultural pull, and even within your own family dynamics, people have so many different views of it. And so it's a very intentional thing. It's not going to be something that happens naturally. And I would even say that, it can't be occasionally. If you're going to keep Thanksgiving in perspective, it has to be something that's a part of you on a more regular basis. It can't be a one time a year event. But I always look forward to it, and I kind of do some reflection and think about things that I'm grateful for and how I need to respond on Thanksgiving Day.
I love what you just said, and I think that probably is the key for most people. Most people lead up to Thanksgiving, and when it comes, suddenly they think they have to be grateful when they haven't been grateful all year long.
Yeah.
And you said it. You said you have to continually be grateful so that you're ready for that day. And I wonder how many people experience that. When you said that, thought, oh, wait a second. I'm not grateful because I haven't been practicing gratitude all year long.
Yeah, that's right. It does become just a holiday for everybody, and gratitude is an attitude, and it's one you have to pursue, and that you want to be a part of your values, a part of your everyday life. And so, I say this: it's a principle, but it also has to be a practice. It has to be something that you make a daily discipline in your life. We go to the gym. That's a daily discipline. Of course, I'm a 1-year Bible reader. That's a daily discipline. I journal. I've made that a daily discipline. It has to be something that you pursue on a daily basis.
It's almost like if, you mentioned going to the gym and the disciplines that you have there. It would almost be like when it becomes, the weigh-in day, when
Yeah.
you set aside, I'm going to weigh myself every
Yeah.
week or every month or every 6 weeks. And then being surprised that nothing happened. You think, well, it's weigh-in day. So certainly I lost weight, but I didn't do anything leading up to weigh-in day. So a lot of people are thinking, well, it's a day of gratitude. Why don't I have this rush of gratitude? But you haven't been doing anything. So it's the disciplines I think are important. And it's actually said that gratitude rewires your brain,
Yes.
the way that you think. Experts say that when you practice gratitude, it's like that hit of dopamine, when we get that rush that makes you want to do it again and you want more and more. And I think it's fascinating that gratitude has the same impact on our body. We're proven to be healthier people when
Yeah.
we're people of gratitude.
That's right. Yeah. It
So,
is.
well, why
Yeah.
do you think it is that people that they struggle so much with gratitude? And I understand there's a lot of adversity people face naturally, but when you consider that we all face adversity,
That's
it's a
right.
shared experience for all of us. Why is it so hard to break through those barriers of life and maintain gratitude?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that lead up to that. I just saw a cartoon the other day, and I think it was just a God thing getting ready for here. But it was two perfectly grass field, green grass, and there was a fence running right down the middle of them. They were identical, lush, plush grass fields. And there was a mule in each one of the fields. And both mules were poking their head through the fence, eating out of the other mule's field. The caption over it was discontent. In other words, each mule had what the other one had, but they couldn't see what they had for looking at what other people have. And I think there is a great discontentment in our culture today and in our country. And in fact, your podcast deals with that so very much in the workforce, in the marketplace. And, but it's a cultural thing. Why, well, we can say social media, we can say the internet, we can say all those things, but it is that we're always looking for what we don't have, and we never stop and look at what we do have. And that's what gratitude is all about. And gratitude begins with understanding who God is and that he's the source of everything we have. And when you start with that, then it shifts your thinking. Now, again, I'm going to say you've got to make it a practice. You've got to be very intentional about it. And I think that people just aren't intentional and they're discontented. And then you brought up a good subject, Brandon. People have this idea that you can only be grateful when everything is going good. When I have everything I want just the way I want it, or that's when I'll be thankful or show gratitude is when something great happens and I experience the things that I want in life. And that's really, really not gratitude at all. That's just an emotion, that's coming out of an experience you're having at that moment. Gratitude goes so much deeper. And, there's even this thinking in the church world that the Bible says, give thanks in everything. I've heard people say that, that means you got to be grateful no matter what you're going through. And that's in 1 Thessalonians 5. But Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20 says, give thanks for everything. And you can't get around it. You can go to the Greek, you can exegese it, you can do whatever you want to. But gratitude is a feeling that God is in control of my life and that everything I have, he is here with me and he's providing for me. Even, Brandon, when I can't feel it, I can't see it, and I'm not experiencing it in my life. That's what a true attitude of gratitude is.
What an incredible perspective about gratitude. It's so powerful. But here's the question that I want to ask us today on this Thanksgiving. This is the question. Are you living a life of gratitude? Is today just a holiday for you? Was this a day off work? Was this a day around the table with some good food? Or are you really living, embracing, and embodying thankfulness in your life every single day? Well, let me offer 3 quick things that you can do beginning today to either start or even increase the level of gratitude in your life. These 3 things will help you and those around you. And first is when it comes to your gratitude, you need to say it. You need to say it. It needs to be verbally expressed. See, many of us internalize gratitude, but did you know that what goes unsaid goes unknown? That's right. What goes unsaid goes unknown. If you don't say it, other people will not know it. Most people that I know are not mind readers. So the question is, who do you need to tell today that you're grateful for them? Who do you need to express your thanksgiving for? Who do you need to express your thanksgiving to? It may be your spouse. You guys may be a partnership and you may be, co-laborers in life together, but maybe you need to stop and just set aside all the business of marriage and just express to your spouse how thankful you are for who they are and the fact that they are in your life. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe you need to slow down just long enough to let your kids know you're thankful for them. What about those people at work? What about the people that you lead or that you co-labor with in your professional life? Maybe you need to express it to them. I once heard an airplane pilot say that for the most part, when you leave the plane and they stand there and they're greeting you as you leave the plane, he said that most people never express any sort of appreciation or acknowledgement that the plane landed safely. Think about it. That's a pretty big deal. There's not a lot of margin for error in the air, but you just anticipate something. It's what I call the law of familiarity, that we just take it for granted. We get on the plane, we take our flight, we land, and we get off. But he said occasionally someone will walk past the cockpit and they will thank him for the safe trip. They will thank him. They will express their gratitude for a job well done. And what he said really was impactful to me. He said that the gratitude itself didn't change the flight, but it changed him. Someone expressing their appreciation for the health and safety of their arrival because of the pilot and the job that he did. It was impactful to him. And believe it or not, you can actually do that for yourself. Sometimes you have to remind yourself of what is good in your life. Sometimes you can be so overwhelmed with all the negativity and all the struggles or barriers that you have, and you can forget that you are a blessed person and you have things to be thankful for. So say it. Secondly, I would say show it. I think gratitude is like milk in a jug. Just stick with me here. Milk is meant to be used. It's not meant to be stored. Milk has a shelf life. It has an expiration date. And when it's fresh, it's nourishing, it's refreshing, it's good. But if it just sits in the fridge, if you ignore the shelf life, if you ignore the expiration date and its intended use, it doesn't fulfill its purpose. And eventually what happens? It goes bad and it gets sour. What was once good becomes useless or even harmful. And if you've ever gotten spoiled milk on accident, you know what I'm talking about. And gratitude, it works the same way. Gratitude is meant to be expressed. It's meant to overflow out of your life. And if you keep it inside, it doesn't nourish, nor does it refresh. And the longer it sits internalized over time, it can sour. It, just like the milk, it can sour in your life. It can show up in bitterness and entitlement. Have you ever met someone who was entitled and thought everything was supposed to just happen for them? That they were bitter over something that didn't happen or when things don't go their way? It's because they haven't expressed gratitude. They haven't been reminded personally of the good things in their life. So it comes through missed opportunities. I think this is a big one. When you don't express it, when you don't pour it out of your life, it's a missed opportunity to encourage someone else. You can encourage them. You can say, I've been through that. I've experienced that, but I made it to the other side. I'm better because of the adversity of my life. And when you live this way, ultimately, I think it becomes a loss of joy. I think being thankful produces joy in your life. And we know the difference between happiness and joy, right? Happiness is circumstantial. It's based on what's happening in the moment. But joy is something that comes from deep within. It has a deeper root in your life. It's not just circumstantial. But it's the gratitude and it's the thankfulness that builds the joy that's in your life. So this is my challenge for you. Even today on this Thanksgiving, grab a glass. Grab a glass, prepare it, and pour some of your thankfulness into it. Show your gratitude by doing something for someone else today. Take something that's happened for you or happened to you that's good inside of you and just express that. Let someone know by showing it. Give it away. And then the third is to share it. See, we live in a social world. Everything about our world is social. Everything is meant for sharing. Think about it. Every social media site, every news site, this podcast has a way for you to spread it and a great way for you to share it. But the question is, when we're so conditioned to share things, why do we not share our gratitude? You shared many reels last week on TikTok or Instagram somewhere that really didn't matter. But what if you shared your gratitude in a world that's full of division, in a world that's full of negativity? Share some gratitude because it's powerful. Let me give you just an easy way to do this. Here's something that I practice in my own life, and I'll just tell you what I do personally. When someone says, "Hey, how are you doing?" That's the first thing that most people, very common, is said or asked to you. If you walk into a room, you get into a conversation, just passing by someone, "Hey, how are you?" And most people miss this opportunity. And most people would say, "Well, I'm just so busy, got a lot going on in my life right now, I don't even know how I'm going to get it all done." Or you hear people say, "Oh, I'm just so tired, Immediately we go to the negative things in our life. But what I usually say when somebody says, "Hey, how are you?" I say, "I'm better than I deserve." It's about sharing the gratitude of my life. And it changes me. It helps me to remember personally that I am better than I deserve. On my worst day, I'm still so blessed. I have so much to be thankful for. And not only does it change me, but it changes them. It changes the environment. It's impactful. So when someone just simply says, "Hey, how are you?" Take an opportunity to say, "I'm doing great." So today, even on Thanksgiving, I'm thankful. And I want to remind myself of what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for Jesus. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my son. And I'm thankful for all the amazing people that are in my life. I'm thankful for you today. I'm thankful for every one of you who joined me for the Mind Your Business podcast. Either you listen or you watch every single episode, and I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative of all the amazing things in this life that we're blessed with. Now listen, when I say that, or when I say, "Oh, I'm better than I deserve," it doesn't dismiss and it doesn't diminish our problems. It doesn't belittle the negativity that is in your life or the struggles or barriers that you're facing. But personally, I choose to let gratitude adjust my attitude. I choose to let gratitude and thankfulness be what leads me and sets the tone for my life, and not the struggles, not the seasonal difficulties. No, I want to be grateful. And I hope that you will join me in doing that as well. And I want to say thanks to Frankie Powell for joining us today, too. You can learn more about him at frankiepowell.com. And thanks to each of you, again, for tuning in always to the Mind Your Business podcast. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. We're glad you're here. And of course, if you found this helpful, will you like, share, subscribe, and of course, leave a review? It's so helpful to me. Now, go enjoy your turkey, be thankful, and until next time, mind your business.